me and the ex, we were fucking serious, man. We were talking about whether or not we wanted to get married. Clearly not. What happened was her little 4-year-old niece just walked up to me in Disneyland in front of her whole entire family and just went, "Why won't you marry my aunt?" I know, it was like, hey kid, shut the fuck up. I didn't actually say that. I love her. She's the greatest. But I couldn't tell her the truth, you know? I couldn't be like, well, your aunt's been married before and she's still working through some shit spiritually, so pretty much it's on her at this point. So the truth, it was scary because we had both been married before, so we both knew how hard it was, and we both knew how much a fucking wedding cost. This is totally true. Average cost of a wedding in New York City, where I'm originally from, $60,000. Yeah, you guys know $60,000, right? Like the amount of money I made in my 20s if we round up by $37,000. $60,000. This is why I feel like young people shouldn't be allowed to get married. Or not that young people shouldn't be allowed to get married, but you should have to be married like 5 years before you can throw yourself a wedding. Because like young people don't know what to do with money. Young people are like, we'll be fine. Old people are like, no, you won't. Like if you ask any older couple who's been married for more than 5 years if they were throwing themselves a wedding, hey, do you want to spend $10,000 on appetizers? They'd be like, you can go to hell. Because older couples know nobody gives a shit about the appetizers at your wedding. Like people only care about one thing at a wedding, and it's not your love, it's the open bar. You could have 6 kegs of beer and some Totino's pizza rolls, and people would still be like, this is a pretty good wedding. I also feel like you should have to go on your honeymoon before you get married. That's something I believe. I think you should have to go on your honeymoon. Some people say live together before you get married. I think honeymoon. Because if you can't get along in Hawaii, you're sure as shit not going to make it in Cleveland. And also, by the way, no more destination weddings. I'm out, I'm done. I'm not renewing my passport to watch you make a mistake. And also, by the way, if you do have a destination wedding and you get divorced in the first 5 years, we're all getting refunds now. And you're flying us to your divorce, and you're having it somewhere fun like Acapulco. My idiot Guido cousin, yeah, and I say Guido in the meanest way possible. And if you don't know what a Guido is, it's just a dude who's covered in hundreds of tattoos of Jesus bleeding. He'd be like, hey Sal, what's the last religious thing you did? And he'll be like, what are you talking about? I just gave up fingering for Lent. All right, peace be with you, buddy. Patron saint of meatballs, that guy. On his Scarface wedding, he spent $180,000. Yeah, $180,000 so his bride could feel like a princess for the day. When for $180,000, she could have became the actual queen of Detroit. Very cheap property there. $180,000, and I don't even remember that much about that wedding. Isn't that crazy? Or I remember 2 things. There were giant marble staircases she had to walk down before we could eat, and there were piles of cheese stacked up like blow. Like so much cheese, if anyone ate all this cheese, they wouldn't shit for 3 years. Isn't that crazy? I went to a wedding that cost as much as 7 Kia Souls. All I remember, stairs, cheese. That's it. That's fucked up. Like, that's nuts. They spent $180,000 on a wedding. Only thing they had to show for it at the end of that wedding was a photo album of them spending $180,000. Once again, this is why I feel like young people shouldn't be allowed to get married. Because if that was any older couple, if you gave any older couple the option between you could have a photo album to remember this day for the rest of your life, or you could afford a stackable washer and dryer. Yeah, there's not an old couple who isn't like, give me the fucking Whirlpool, baby. A mother of 3 would kick her own pastor in the pussy for in-unit laundry. But young people are like, no, we need that photo album. We need to remember this day for the rest of our lives. Bullshit. I've been married. I'm divorced. I got one of those photo albums. I'm not doing shit with it. But I know what I'm gonna do with it. I'm gonna Photoshop my new girlfriend's face on top of my ex-wife's face. Yeah, and then when I propose to her, I'm gonna give her that photo album and be like, hey, I just saved us $10,000. I got divorced. I got divorced for the main reason most people get divorced. I picked wrong. Yeah. I went with opposites attract. Yeah. Opposites also fuck a bartender named Craig. So. Oh, do you guys think I fucked Craig? I didn't fuck Craig. I could have though. Don't get weird about it. I like to think of Craig's dick as like the iceberg on the Titanic. It got me off the ship. Also, by the way, if you're in here and you're in your 20s and you're thinking about getting married right now, don't fucking do it. Statistically, people get married in their 20s versus people who wait till their 30s don't make it. Like, let's put it this way. If you bought an unframed poster in the past decade, you're not ready to be married. You're not responsible enough to be part of a joint checking account. This is totally true. On my honeymoon, I bought a Nirvana t-shirt. I could have just told you that and you would have been like, divorced. Also, by the way, if you're in here in your 20s right now and you're thinking about getting a tattoo, don't fucking do it. Your taste, much like the person you're here with now, gonna change. Like when I was in my 20s, I wanted to get a Dave Matthews Band tattoo. Yeah, now as an adult, I know I don't like Dave Matthews Band. I just like being drunk outside.